What's up, y'all? Good Monday. Good to see y'all. Listen, y'all. If y'all don't know, this is TFG Tonight, and I'm your host, Mr. Haynes. And this is the best morning show that you can watch at night. Y'all listen, that's Devin, that's Lee, and that's Kenny.
I'm trying to be nice.
Black said we got two Americans.
Let's say to my brother Black, man, I think you could be a preacher. I ain't never heard somebody that use a curse word and then read a scripture right after.
You know,
So let me state for the record, I am a misogynist. You know,
Pull out your card, Doc. He's
and I'm a chauvinist as well. Anybody who knows me knows that.
That's right. That is
Now I can go back to minding my own business.
true.
Either that boy is Benjamin Button or somebody lying.
And listen, and that boy may be mentally 12, but he's 34.
You bad boy, you don't do it again.
I'll let Black articulate a little bit better than that.
Nope.
Okay.
Never mind.
It's good for the soul. It's like medicine, right?
Yeah, for real.
That's all I gotta say. I wish I had one of them applause buttons to, like that.
Good morning, y'all. Happy Monday.
Oh, and what a Monday it is. Hey, everybody. What's going on? It is a special episode. We have made it a staple to turn our Black Love series into an episode because there's so much to talk about in the Black community. And so I'm excited to be here. And guess what? Everybody's here. Now, y'all may think she's on location, but she's with us, and it don't even matter. What up, everybody?
What up?
Black
What's
Kenny,
good? What
my
up?
sister. Y'all doing all right? Fantastic.
Zone and pop.
Tonight. Oh yeah, no, yeah. We good. You got it still. So I am 1000% excited to have this conversation with my family. And I couldn't wait. I've been salivating for 7 days. I have been salivating for 7 days, and so I know everybody can't wait to hear from us. They've already chimed in. Hey, Miss Carolyn.
Hey, Miss Carol. CC.
I gotta remember her name because it said something totally different. I said, "Who is grown?" But that picture, that beautiful picture there. Thank you. She's been in here since 7:30. So all the rest of y'all, hey, what's good? Y'all good? Everybody good at the table? Family, y'all good?
Good.
Yes, sir.
All right. Listen, I'm not gonna irritate her tonight, but I am coming for her because I have some questions now. So, she started this last week with all this stuff. But before we get started, listen, if we say something, we're gonna say something tonight. If we say something that y'all like now, y'all go and hit us with this little cash that we got now, because Juneteenth coming up, and I'm trying to get me some watermelon. And it already passed, huh?
No, it's not. It's Wednesday.
The 19th. Yeah, okay.
The 19th is Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah, you
all
good.
right, yeah. So yeah, we good. Yeah, these boys ain't doing that. They gonna lose this game. So anyway, Black, you ready?
Yes, sir.
You drinking tonight?
No, not yet.
Oh,
you said yeah.
Okay, all right. You
yeah.
gonna buy? Listen, the folks need to hear from Lee, sober or unsober. You know what I'm saying? But preferably unsober. So, so listen, we're here, you guys. We had a great conversation last week, and sister, she rattled some feathers, and she is the reason why we're having this conversation. And I'm just gonna open up straight out the gate with it. My sister said to us last week, she says, "Why don't y'all admit that y'all are more sensitive?" And I want to know, who are we supposed to be more sensitive than? Y'all? Because I'm not agreeing to that part. So can you enlighten us for just a moment? What do you mean by, can we admit that we're more sensitive? More sensitive than who?
Okay, couple things.
And I'm giving big screens tonight because I think it's necessary.
I actually thought about this.
Okay.
And this is what I've come to the conclusion to. I'm not going to say that you're any more or less sensitive. I'm definitely not going to say you're less sensitive, because I don't believe that. No. I just think there's certain things we care about more than you do. But I think when it's time to be sensitive, you are just as sensitive. But what I will say that where I see men with the most trouble when it comes to that is how you handle and control your emotions. I think women are much better at handling and controlling our emotions, because let's be honest, there ain't a man in this world where you could tell him that he can't F, and then he ain't in his feelings and ready to break up tomorrow. That's so you're just as sensitive as women.
Okay, so I want to start that in because I appreciate that. So I listen, that's been running through my mind for 7 days, and I may have a bad analogy, but I'm just going to tell you how I feel about this.
Okay.
As sacred as a woman's reproductive organs are, I'll say that, I think men hold their sensitivity is as valuable as a woman's vagina. Let me state it clearly. Man sensitivity, in my opinion, is just as valuable as a woman's vagina. And I'll tell you why, and I'll let everybody else share. The reason why, and I was trying to make this, and I think I did an okay job, but I'm going to be really clear today. Our sensitivity is so precious because that's not our normal wheelhouse. Nothing about sensitivity speaks to our manhood, whether it's athletics, whether it's how we were raised. If you were raised by men, that's not what was taught to men to be sensitive. Matter of fact, remember when we were raised, they wanted to make sure that boys, you don't play with dolls, and girls, they don't do certain things. And so I think sensitivity was one of those things that were kind of pushed away from men instead of learning how to develop them properly. And so now that we use sensitivity again, yes, you all manage sensitivity well because you have practiced it over your lifespan. We've been told, don't cry, suck it up, you acting like a girl, all those kind of things. And so now that we have tried to iron out the ignorance of those statements in this moment, you're right. We don't know how to handle sensitivity, so we're playing in you guys' playhouse. And so, but to understand that when you want us to be that way, to give our sensitivity over to a woman that will give us the opportunity to act out, because that's what it does. It's like if and again, I'm not generalizing because that's dangerous, but I'm saying this: if as valuable as a woman's reproductive organ is, she shouldn't be giving it to all kinds of men. It's the same thing for us as our sensitivity. I don't believe I should give my sensitivity to all women, because if you hurt me, then you're going to find out that you're going to see this, like you said, we can't control our emotions because it's vulnerable for us. So, okay, so that's where I stand in 7 days since I met you, since we talked last. Brothers,
comparing the sensitivity to our reproductive organs, and that's I don't really understand that, but I hear you.
Okay, I'm just saying the worth of it, because most women, and I said a lot of women say, like, if they give that to a man, then they look at that as some way. Or am I lying? I've heard that women, when they
that's what we tell you.
But y'all lying. Oh, okay.
It's not that we're lying.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I mean by when I.
Go ahead, but go ahead, John.
All right, brother. Whichever one want to get in first.
This is already starting out heavy. What's up, Aaron? I want to let me say this, Brother Black, for you. I hand over the microphone to you. I think one of the questions I'm looking at this question: are men more sensitive? I think a side question to that is: sensitive men even attractive? That's a whole sidebar to this whole question. But sensitivity for men, I will have to agree with you, Brother Brendan. I think men, we have to feel like we are in a safe space to be sensitive with a woman, to show our sensitive side. And that's very hard for men to do, because 9 times out of 10, if we open up and allow that part of us with a woman, somehow, some way, that will probably come back and bite us in the ass. So a lot of times, men, we don't like to do that. And that's why I agree with what you said, Brendan. I think with the right woman, a man will open up with that woman, as long as it's a safe space. He had to feel like that she won't use that as a weapon against him later. Now, to answer this question, I kind of went around the bush. Are men more sensitive? I think we are. I think men, but it also depends on the situation. I think Sister Lady D just brought up some real that would hit us in the heart. If a woman tell us that our penis is trash, most men gonna feel some type of way about that. They gonna be in their feelings because that's one of our prized possessions.
That's our love language.
Our sexual prowess. That's how we figure out that we the man if we the man in the bedroom. Which when you get older, it's much more to it than that. But again, Lady D is correct about that. But then there's certain situations that I think women can tend to be more sensitive. But that's just my opinion.
So hey, Miss Demi.
Hey, what's up, Miss Demi?
How you feeling? I saw you comment a couple weeks ago, so I want to just check in on you. How you do? Let us know how you doing. All right, my brother. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous why you're so
subdued
right now.
Kind of subdued.
Oh no, I'm absorbing. And it's in the week that I've had to absorb this, I've swung more to Lady D's side in the sense that I think it's generational. The more I thought about it, in answering initially, I'm processing it from my perspective. I'm a 56-year-old male. From my perspective, I would have said no. But as I process it, Lady D, I think there's a lot of right in what you're saying, because I think this is a product of how we were raised. And so to Brother Brenton's point, I was processed initially from the perspective that I come from a generation where we had defined roles. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, we were taught to hold certain things in. It would have been disrespectful on so many levels. We learned that from being a little boy. Even a nursery rhyme, I said that we can't say certain things. It would be out of place. And I still carry a lot of that today. I still address women as miss this, miss that, whether they're young or old. But in this era, the generations that in the last two generations where reality TV, talk shows have told men to become more in tune with their feelings, I agree with you in this sense. Now, we can't get away from shows now where the men come on and they bitch and moan about every single thing. And it irks me to my core. You can't watch a singing competition without some bitch ass dude talking about why he's singing. Sing the damn song instead of telling us that your grandmother died and oh my God, and this, that, and the other. So that pisses me off. So I think in that sense, I agree with you. Having said that, now my thing is maybe something is wrong with me. Those comments about whether my D is bad or not, that would never have offended me. I personally could care less, about that. That never would have offended me then. It wouldn't offend me now. My thing is, if you gave me some of that snatch and it was in your head to tell soft or hard, what do I care whether or not you thought it was trash or not? Okay, if you went away and it wasn't good, that's okay. I still, did what I needed to do. I'm a selfish person in that sense that I don't give a shit, about whether or not you offended me in that area. Lastly, this makes me think about a movie when you talk about how we process things. Jack Nicholson and Greg Kinnear had a movie one time, As Good as It Gets. And Jack Nicholson's this crazy, neurotic guy, and long story short, he's a famous author. He's rich. He works from home. This lady comes up to him and she says, "Oh my God, I love you. How do you learn how to write for women so well?" And the comment he made, he says, because we think of all the things that a woman would say, but basically we attach logic and self-control to it.
Yeah.
And that was something similar to Chris Rock said in the stand-up routine. You know why sometimes we can't say certain things? When we're in an argument with you guys, we're in a disagreement with you guys, we have a need for the shit to make sense. Where, as Chris Rock said, y'all in it to hurt and for distance. And I agree with that in so many ways that's what I said last week. If we retaliated and said some of the same things, because I can make an argument that our egos are built to hear that our stuff is trash. Tell a woman her snatch ain't no good and see how that feel, you know? And so I think that comes across in a whole different way as well. But this new generation, I tend to agree with you that we've got the femination, the men are more feminized, and I don't fit into this new world. But these new men, they are sensitive. I agree.
So I want to ask this question because, and again, it's open for the conversation. When we think about this, because to Black's point, I do believe that women, whether intentionally or unintentionally, will use their words to try to berate or upset their man. This is the thing, though, I want us to keep in mind. All men don't respond to negative words from women the same. Can we agree to that? Because there's so some men, when a woman pop off to him, like the first thing he does is he wants to get angry and put his hands on her. Right? That's a very right. So when you have this spectrum of intelligent and unintelligent men, you got to keep in mind the type of man you're dealing with. So again, some of the experiences that women are having is that they'll say that, yeah, men are y'all ain't sensitive, y'all can't take it. Well, ignorant men can't take it. Unintelligent men can't take it. But you have other men that can speak and articulate properly to women. And I'll be honest, some women can't take men who articulate well to women, because then they start calling, oh, you gay? You keep trying to go there to try to. And again, I don't believe that that's a nice person, a woman that always is trying to find out how to one up a man just because you can't offend him with your words. That again, that's a problem for me with her. And I think that women have to be careful about the type of man. You got to be smart enough to know the type of man you got. If you got mandingo, you know what I'm saying, and I'm going to work, don't talk crazy to him, because he don't know how. Again, he don't know how to process you popping off. Some men do, some men don't. And so I just think that's just a spectrum and not just generalizing. Is that fair, sister?
I agree. I do know there are some men that I've encountered that I would never even have an argument with, especially if he's had a cocktail. If I know certain dudes that have had a cocktail and I know they're mad, I used to spend all my time de-escalating. There was no argument. It was just ignoring, avoiding, because I know that the caliber of that person. And then, because as women, you learn when certain men, they've gone too far. And I personally am triggered by men who become angry in an argument or a conversation. I can't do a man who yells and cusses at me. I can't. It's very triggering for me. It does too much. And I'm sure it stems back to stuff in my past, right? So, but I just feel like a lot of men, because you're stronger, not you guys personally, by the way, because you're stronger and you can overpower a woman, you use that as a weapon to shut her up or to get your way. And I just think those dudes are pussy ass dudes. And I don't respect them. I don't want them in my space. I can't respect that, where I can't even have a conversation with you, because then you become angry and you become like, you exert this dominance because and I think those people are, I think they lack intelligence. It bothers me to encounter a man who can't even have a conversation with me, a real grown-up conversation with me, to where you can express your feelings, even if you need a minute, because I'm that person. When I'm hot, don't talk to me right at that moment. Right. Because I don't communicate well. But give me a minute to calm down and we can communicate. But if you're someone who can't talk or pop off, I just find that very unattractive. And to be honest with you, a lot of women do, except some of those weird toxic women. A lot of women do. We just tolerate it because we've been told that that's just how you behave.
Right. So, yes, You said, would it be fair to say they lack self-awareness? That's logical. Or are we saying the same thing with intelligence? Both. And again, to what Devin is saying, and even to what I'm saying, like I encourage people when you're dating, like you need to make sure that this man, one of his characteristics is he has the ability to restrain himself. Like that needs to be added into your list of things that you want in a man. You want a man to be able to learn how to restrain himself, but at the same time, it's telling if you always trying to push another man's buttons. I mean, okay, again, that's like saying I'm gonna go eat McDonald's every day, but I'm working on my cholesterol and my diabetes. Why would you like that? Doesn't make sense to me. Like, no man is without mistake. So never try to push a man to the point. But I'm just saying it again to Devin's point, boy. You need to take off your shoes. You stay, get in the shower, and he about to blow up. Well, listen, y'all stop trying to fix these dudes. Let them go on, man. There's women out there.
There are women. I'm not to cut you off, Brandon. I'm sorry, but there are women who like to push the dude's buttons because they see that as we enjoy your attention in any kind of way we can get a reaction out of you. Because I don't know why when y'all shut down and you don't talk, that's more bothersome than when you can have a conversation with me. Because y'all say women like to shut down and don't want to talk and withhold and da-da-da-da. Well, it bothers us as women just as much when you shut down and you don't want to talk, because that makes us feel like you're uninterested in us and you don't care about our feelings and I don't mean enough to you to want to have a conversation with me. And some women, because they lack emotional intelligence, don't know what to do with that. So they keep poking you, and then they jump on you when you react too much.
Right.
I'm so glad you said that because that's been my experience. I'm not a yeller. I always have to have. I grew up in a very tumultuous household with violence and fighting, and I'm the least violent of all my family members. And I made a vow from being a little kid, being a frightened kid. You know, this fat guy you sitting in front of you, I was a underweight person for a good deal of my life. And so I don't like loud noises, yelling, arguing. I don't like violence in any way in my house. And so I'm on the other end of the spectrum, Lady D, where I won't shut down, but I'm careful about what I will say. And I'm the kind of person that I'm going to say what I mean, and that's that. But I believe the tongue is one of the most dangerous weapons we have, because what you say, sometimes there's no taking that
Can't
back.
come back from it. That's right.
So sometimes when I've been in situations where there's been a disagreement, I'm cautious. I'm thinking about, again, I could say this, but I'm not. And so what your trigger is with the guy, my trigger is with a woman who has to have the last word, even if she's not a yellow or something like that, you know. And so that for me is a trigger where, you know, thank God I haven't been in any real relationships with a woman like that. But even what has stopped the dating, I knew it wasn't going any further when I've been with somebody that, man, we could be watching a quiet show and you have to have the last word and this, that. And nor am I a big fan of this new movement about woman power, black power, all black women are queens, this, that, and the other. No, there's some queens and there's some bitches out there too. I just happen to like them both.
Black, you went where I was saying I wanted to go. Listen to Lady D. I think when you talk about men and how they react and are they sensitive, I think a lot of us men and when we were a product of our environment, we kind of are what we came from. And Black, you stated that you came from a state of there was somewhat of chaos, and that was something that you vowed that you did not want to be when it comes to conflict. But there's a lot of men, and we're talking about our men more sensitive. That's why I'm gonna stick solely to talking to men. I think a lot of men have a lot of childhood trauma that they never addressed, and I think they end up being, even though they grown men with muscles and all that, with hair on their face, but emotionally they still little boys. They still don't know how to. They don't even know how to respond. They don't know how to express themselves. So I think that's all that's part of it too.
And that's ultimately what we're saying, you all. Like, when you've come to the place where you're not playing games anymore, you have to make sure that the other person is on the same page. Because all the things you just heard us talk about from Devin, making sure that I'm going to get the attention from you, whether you like it or not. Like, man, y'all, listen, stop it. When they show you who they are, you got to believe them and then move on, because you're not helping the situation. And again, we all got stories we can tell about past relationships, right? And that's the issue too, man. Okay, no. We're going to stick to men. So ultimately, are men more sensitive? I don't know if that, it depends on what we're gauging, but men need to learn how to
now
manage
I'm leaning towards Lady D.
Okay.
I'm on your side.
I was looking, because I was just thinking about this, because after we were talking, I was like, man, I never really thought about it, because most men that I've encountered in my life are more sensitive than me. But you got to keep in mind, I'm different. If y'all hadn't figured that out yet, I lack sensitivity. I lack sensitivity in a lot of ways. I'm not as soft as I quote unquote am supposed to be, but to me, I'm soft enough to be able to deal with the bullshit. But I was just thinking about the statistics of like men who kill women simply for just leaving them. Yes. Men who kill women simply for them getting into another relationship. Yeah. Right. They've done everything to cause this woman to leave them, to cause this woman to enter a relationship. And one of the things I wanted to ask you guys was, and it's really not y'all, but why do men use emotion and tears as a weapon? It's almost like when you cry, everything is supposed to stop. And I don't care if you just shot the Pope. If you cry, that is the best apology that could be given, and all must be immediately forgiven. And I don't know
you saying if the man cry? Or the
man.
Right.
It's something, men, because women, when we cry, it's like, oh, there she go being emotional again. You know what I'm saying? But when a man cries, it's like, oh my God, he's crying. Why is he crying?
And you just said the magic word. Women are emotional. So men tie crying to emotions, and it's manipulation, because ultimately he thinks that's going to, it's like, why, here it is. Why do men always want to have sex after being upset? And why do women use sex to manipulate men? Because that's what we attach sex to. Y'all attach it to emotions, we attach to sex, and it's both a manipulation tactic, in my opinion, because he's trying to relate to you, and thus she's trying to relate to him. In my opinion, just straight out the bat, that's what it is. Yeah, Black.
Lady D, I can truly tell you I'm not qualified to answer that. I can't process men crying. And for me, call it, no, and I'm being as serious as a heart attack.
I believe it.
For me, there is really only one acceptable reason that I would accept that a man is crying. There has to be a death. It has to be a death. I don't give a damn about your dog died, or you lost your job, or you lost your house. For me, I can't process a man crying. Call that testosterone, pride, machismo, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how. I'm very hard on men, and it's not right. But for me, I'm telling you how I see men. I don't. That's where, for me, why I've disconnected for so long, and I don't really have male friends, because when you bring up that scenario, I can't imagine under what circumstances that a man would be bawling if there's not a death.
It's hustling, bro.
It's acting. It's manipulation.
Yes.
I know exactly what Devin.
So that's why for me,
I doesn't cry for 3 months straight. I was like, damn, your ass ain't dried up yet. How much goddamn?
Hold on, say that again. I missed that part. Who cried for 3 months straight?
My ex-husband, when I left him, he cried for 3 months straight. He didn't cry when I told him I was sick of this, and this. He didn't cry until I was done. So he would show up every day bawling.
Manipulation.
True story. True story. When I went through my divorce, worst thing ever happened to me in my life. I've said this before. It's the second greatest decision I've ever made that I failed at. And I wanted to die. I literally, my thing was the moment I finally looked at my house and everything was going in the realization, oh my God, what in the hell did I just do? And I stayed inside for a couple of days and I cried. Boys to Men, I'm Doing Just Fine was the song that got me through. But nobody ever saw that and nobody ever would see that. Every day I still had to get up and go to work and present the professional that I was, even though privately, I suffered, and that partially turned me into who you see in front of you, when I went out punishing women doing my thing. But having said that, I wasn't going to let anybody see me cry because that's the way I was built. So that's why I said I can't connect to. I would never let a woman see me. Now, again, I've been emotional. Matter of fact, I find that as I've aged, I'm more emotional now than I've ever been in my life. That's the crazy part.
But it's like that dude with that Risa Tisa chick, right? He conned her. And that's what he understood something about if he's emotional. Again, he's not intelligent enough to tell the truth. And so that's what a child does. They don't know how to express themselves. So what do? They just start crying until you say, what's wrong? What's wrong? Because ultimately, if he's doing that for 3 months, he's thinking at some point in time, you're going to stop feeling the way you are towards him.
Something wrong when a woman cries don't affect me either. I just thought about it. Either way.
Let me ask you this, Lady D. Yeah, let me ask you this, Lady D. You said your ex-husband cried for like 3 months straight and this and that. And we know most women, you all are nurturers at heart. I mean, that is something that can trigger you. So did it affect you in any way at all?
I said, God damn, you still crying?
Okay. So you were done. It wasn't you were done.
What's wrong with you? Why are you so cold? Why are you so
right.
like distant? Which that's my personality anyway. But I know that those tears are manipulation. I do realize that. But I know that they work for a lot of people. I know women who a man can cry or threaten to harm himself. And she was oh my God, I can't leave him because if something happens, it's my fault. It's the same manipulative cycle. And I would be like, girl, bye. Because he probably was at the club pop locking and dropping it until he got the drinking and want to come to your house. And so now he crying. And I just feel like a lot of men don't know they don't know what to do with their, emotions, because the longer I ignored it, the more it started becoming other stuff. Like
anger.
I'm gonna take my life and yours, or I'm gonna take your life, or I'm gonna take my life. Then it became something, because when the tears didn't work, and I'm me, unfortunately, I don't know how to be sensitive to your tears. I'm just like, damn. And so then it becomes like something else. I'm gonna harm you. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna harm you.
Right. Getting mad. That's right. That's what they do.
And it's this just cycle of emotions, and I've never understood. And now that y'all have said it, as far as the way you were raised, it's just basically toxic masculinity is what I'm hearing. And somehow we need to change that so that this generation of men coming up, they know how to handle rejection, and they know how to handle not getting what they want.
That ship is sailed.
I'm finna say I think we're too late for that. Maybe
I think we too late
generations,
maybe
two generations away. Maybe.
I think our generation, I'm talking being black, we were failed by our own parents.
Absolutely.
And now this is what you get. I can honestly say that, and I can agree with Black. I've never cried in front of a woman, even if I was hurt. I never cried in front of her. My ex-wife, peace be upon her. That divorce, it took me out. I was hurt.
Yeah.
I was crying in the dark. Nobody knew.
Right.
But I didn't cry in front of her.
Yeah.
So I don't do that. I cried in front of her when, obviously deaths, like Black said, when my mom passed, obviously she was there. And I cried. But as far as relationship wise, I've never cried in front of a woman, because that ain't what I wasn't going to be using that as no manipulation.
Right.
And obviously it is what it is. So you ain't going to see me cry. I might be hurt. You ain't going to see it though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and again, y'all, we just scratching the surface because there's so much more
Mhm.
we could talk about and talk through. But again, listen, we'll process them hot dogs and put it through the grinder and all that kind of stuff, man. So, yeah, I that was great. So I appreciate where everybody is with that. Demi said, I think I must have the problem. I can't judge a gender, race, etc. based on a few experiences I have encountered. That's a pet peeve of mine. And again,
I agree, Demi. I base mine on mine and everyone else's experiences. I have enough people's experiences to know that I feel like there are times where we all date the same dude. And because I've never been specific on race of who I date, I'm an equal opportunity, not give a damn. I feel like white, Hispanic, Asian, like it's all you're all the same. I know we think that everyone's like completely different, but you're not. You're not. I just feel like Black men are the most difficult to admit they're sensitive and to actually show their emotions is what I've always found. And it always presents in some sort of anger or just shut down, run away type thing. And I just feel like, because I'm sure I'm guilty of it myself when my son was young. I just feel like it's because you've always been taught that anything else is a sign of weakness.
Right.
And,
but that's the other. But we would be remiss if we didn't admit, though, the world sees Black men different than those other races, and so you've got to admit that part too.
I do.
We go. No, I'm not saying you personally, but I'm saying that's the rabbit hole that it is toxic masculinity, but it's how the world sees us.
And it's how we.
The moment that a Black boy becomes a teenager, it's funny how you see even racial movies where, I forget one of the movies, they're so cute when they're young, but we have to teach our boys when they walk out that door and the moment they get past 10, 11, 12, how we see them as little kids, but how the world see them, they'll prosecute a boy as a man. They'll prosecute a Black boy as a man. And so even big, strong, 56-year-old me go to the doctor. Well, hey, what's your on a scale of 1 to 10? What's your pain tolerance? Oh, it's a 9. Oh, a big old fella like you. The world sees us differently.
The Black American
than they see others. Now that white man that's living next to me for all them years who never worked because he had a back injury, and even when you walk through the door and you go into the doctor's office and who you here to say, they whisper to him quietly before I can even step up there, what you here for, blah, blah, blah. The world sees us differently. And so a product of our environment, we've been taught to mask that level of sensitivity because don't nobody want to see a big, strong, strapping Black man crying, but a Mexican, an Asian. Look at TV right now. You heard an Asian person, they have national commercials about what happens to them and the Jews and this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, bending on the knees, they still killing Black people. They just don't see us the same.
But we just have to remember this, and I'll be done with this part of it. Black Americans' origin of living was stemmed from toxic masculinity. Nothing about what we came into the country about was about us uplifting Black people. We were slaves. We were treated less than human. So again, there's no nucleus. I can't say the word right, but nucleus.
And told that none of that matters.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Remember the Holocaust, but slavery, that didn't affect you guys.
But that's all I'm just saying. So for us, and again, I don't lean on it hard, but I just got to be honest about it. That we have there's no well for us to go to of wisdom, of knowledge, because I mean, what 400 years ago,
Black man, if we did complain, who the hell gonna listen?
Yeah. So again, I'm with you. Like I said, we're learning on the job, and so I'm grateful that I'm better than what I've been exposed to. Again, because we can't take that sensitivity to the locker room, man. We get ate up.
But
And
Lady
so-
D, you're right. Y'all got it worse than us. For all that, the black woman is on the lowest of the totem pole, and y'all carry the more weight. I acknowledge that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't really know how to transition to this one, but we'll just do it.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there how much
Oh.
more of a risk or reward would it be to be in a relationship with somebody you were once friends with? Have you all ever dated your friends? Like y'all were friends first, and then it kind of fell into something?
No, I haven't.
I always did it opposite. We couldn't be friends unless we fucked.
Oh, that's a whole.
Well,
Okay,
I'm gonna hold you for last. Dude,
right? Yeah, that's different.
We're gonna invert
That's why-
everything. Yeah, I'm with you. Go on, sister. Have you?
I have not, but I've had people I thought were my friends that later came out and said, you know, they would like to be more than friends, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
it ruins the friendship, because I think crossing those lines ruins the friendship, and it also allows me to see that you never really thought of me as a friend. The friend that you intended.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't.
Because you telling everybody I'm sis. I'm thinking of you like my bruh, like my actual blood brother that I would never think of crossing that line with, and that no woman that ever encountered me with him would ever have to worry about me crossing that line because I'm cis. So, but I can't be cis today. And then when my relationship ends, you try to make it something else because I'm like, was I ever cis?
Man, that's crazy. This is the second time that you've brought up a situation. I'm assuming these are two different people, like from with your ex-husband to this thing you're talking about now. It's like everybody's trying to figure you out, and they're trying to come at you from all these different angles. And it's like, well, maybe if I cry, she'll act differently. Or maybe if I treat her like a sister and then try to slide. I know how dudes do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We got different playbooks for different women.
Yes.
Come on now. We
Yes,
come
that's
with different playbooks.
So
Yeah.
that's funny that you say that, because I can clearly see what everybody's trying to do. They trying to figure out how to get to the place that they want to be, but you just different, man. Like you can throw your hat backwards and sag your pants, and you homeboy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess you was the what they call it? You was the butch before the butches was, right? No, and I don't mean that seriously. I'm just saying, but
You see what Sherry said about you, Black?
My
You see what
brother
your
is
sister said?
I'm looking. I even know she was watching. Okay.
And I don't, and Carol, I don't even think she's complex. It's just I think
Right.
I know.
And she may be complex. I mean,
I observe a lot of things ever since I was a kid. I've always been very observant to my mom's relationships, my sister's relationships, because my sister is much older than me. Things that I've gone through, I've never forgotten anything that I've gone through. And I've always been that person that friends and just random women will come to talk to me about their lives and their relationships. And that was just a time in my life where I was just like, I ain't got time for the BS. And I need transparency with a dude, because I really want to be just feminine and soft and all of that. But that don't mean you supposed to take me for some weak woman, because I ain't about it.
Well, Kenny, have you ever dated a friend?
No, I haven't, and I have a lot of attractive female friends that we never went that way. As far as trying to see if we could date. I think it's funny that we're talking about this, because a lot of people, relationship gurus, say that you should start off being friends first. And then take it to that next level. And I think most people don't start off friends with their mate. You start off because they look good to you. You look good to them. Y'all have a conversation, and you take it from there. You don't just start off being best friends.
But people call that friends. They say you're friends until you cross a line. But to me, that's not friends if you're attracted to me like that.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. But then they say you should marry your best friend. Well, most of us don't start off our relationships looking for that person to be our best friend. We don't. And that's the confusing part about it. But the risk rewards to being friends and then try to take it. I think the risk is if you do take it to that level and it don't work out. I mean, a lot of times, I mean, you can't go back to the way the friendship was. You can try, you can fake it till you make it, but it ain't gonna ever be the same. I just think if you cross that line and try to take it there, as far as the reward, if it works out, hell, y'all hit the trifecta. I mean, that's I think that's the obvious. I think if you can be best friends and then it turn into a romantic relationship, I think that's the best way to go.
But somebody gonna be pissed in your background. Somebody in your background gonna be pissed off.
In whose background?
You were friends for an extended period of time. You were friends with one of her dudes, somebody she dated, somebody that was in her life, and they gonna say, okay, so y'all was whatever in the background the whole time. Is what they gonna think.
Well, at that point, that's they sensitive ass. That ain't got nothing to do with me. We just talked about men being sensitive. Hey, there you go. That's his sensitive ass.
I think at the end of the day, I'll be honest. Like we just said, it's if you're attracted to somebody, like that. That's what I really want to make sure everybody's clear about. It's very dangerous when we generalize, because even with four of us sitting here, and I believe without a shadow of a doubt, all four of us are intelligent, but we still have experiences that take us down different paths, that unless we have conversations to alter our perspectives, well, then you can't cookie cut nothing, right? Even for Black making the statement, well, they love me after. We friends after, you know what I'm saying? And I may think they just friends with benefits after. I don't know, because it's just we name so many things now, right?
But
so you
Black probably is friends with benefits afterwards, right?
Probably.
So to answer the question, taking you down my toxic upbringing. To answer it, sitting here in front of you now, the risk reward is not worth it.
Right.
But how I felt 20 years ago was completely different. You know, for me, I equated friendship with let's get the sex part out the way. Because to Devin's point, if I found you attractive, I ain't got time to be playing around and wondering what it would be like. Let's get to it. You know, let's just go ahead on and bust this thing down. So now that's not hanging over our heads, because I don't want you to live in that world, Lady D, if you were a friend of mine back in the day, of I'm not going to be plotting on you. I'm not waiting on an opportunity. I don't want drunk sex. I'm going to tell you point blank, I want some of that pussy. Let's get it over with. Let's see where this is going to go. And then now the friendship can blossom and grow, and we could be the greatest we could be, because now there's no mystery to this. As I've gotten older,
wait till we get to this next question. I'm really
as I've gotten older, I realized I truly didn't know what the hell I was doing. Mm-hmm. And now a true friendship is so fragile. I would never cross that line. I didn't have the sexual maturity to process it. 20 years, I looked at women as obstacles. And to your point, Lady D, I'm gonna be honest with you. Sitting here now, they were friends, but I didn't truly understand the nature of friendship to the level that I do now. And now there is nothing that I would do to cross a line with a friend, because it's just not worth it for me at this point. Because at this stage, what you know about me, what I know about you, that's more important than anything, and it's just not worth crossing that line for me at this stage, because I would rather give you advice and help you find whatever you're looking for. I hope you do the same for me. And that's who I become now. Just like I told you, as I become older, I'm far more sensitive than I ever was before. I process it differently. Like, man, we cool, but if we sleep together, what if it goes wrong? The younger me wouldn't have gave a damn about how you looked at it, because I was only thinking about self-gratification.
Right.
But now that I'm older, wiser, I value friendship more. I like the fact that I truly can have a female. Tasha and I, we going on vacation together in September. I don't see her in any way sexual. It doesn't even cross my mind. I've learned to set a hard line where I don't even see her in that way.
So can I make this statement? I think, just thinking about this in its entirety, I think there are probably certain men that can thrive in that type of environment, but not promiscuous men. Promiscuous men can't operate like that. Now, maybe if a man who has a very low testosterone level I'm not even going to talk about gay men, but I'm just saying just straight men who just, that's not what they do. Because there are men out there that have low testosterone that just don't have that. But promiscuous men cannot function well in a relationship where, like Black is talking about, well, are we friends or are we not friends? And I'll just be honest with you, probably that guy that you talking about that was telling you, calling you sis. I mean, I don't know him. Was he promiscuous?
He was a hoe.
Well, then, there we go. So again, that's it. So again, hey, we just all we hear is just,
I want to add one last outlier in here that
yeah.
I
Come on.
always have to mention.
Okay.
Anytime you're talking about this and you put this under the microscope, those of you watching this show and those of you come back watching it later, look at who we're talking about.
I deserve to be able to have a friendship.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you don't.
If say one of y'all going through something and y'all be like, sis, I just need to get away. I'm fighting with my girl, and you should be able to sleep at my house on my couch.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
No. Everything you're right. You should be able to. But Lady D, you're an intelligent, beautiful woman. And I'm gonna go back to a comment. You are complex. And that complexity makes you even more attractive. Now, the panel here that's become brothers to you, we would be fiercely protective of you, like a
100.
sub. If we was hanging out with you, how we see you,
100,
because we've come to know you. But man, looked like he was gonna rub up against you the wrong way. We're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But I do want to acknowledge, let's not kid ourselves now. You don't
I ain't blind
in the middle of your head.
I ain't Stevie Wonder. I can see.
And so in that sense, where a lot of men think with the little head, not the big one, it's kind of, in that sense, we're visual creatures, now again, I've had some friends that was fine. I had some that was ugly. I just happen to like ugly women too. So, my thing is that it didn't matter what they look like for me. So, shit, skinny, fat, thick, thin, I could find something for them to do. But
hey, you know what, Black? I gotta ask you a question before we move on, real quick. On the best friend thing, what if you guys are so compatible, like you finish each other's sentences?
Could never work.
You like everything. Y'all
never work.
I mean, it's just like you guys.
Could never work. I wouldn't even want someone.
It still wouldn't work.
I wouldn't even want someone that is that I need the differences for it to work for me.
Gotcha.
Okay. The best relationships I've ever been in is that woman is just different because that balances me out. No, please don't finish. If a woman, if what's living in my head is living in her head, I wouldn't trust that bitch at all.
Moving on to the next topic. Thank you, gentlemen. All right. I think I'm gonna leave it at this one after we get through this. We'll be done because I think we did a great job talking through some good issues. So we'll save some for next time around. But condoning or not condoning our children in engaging in these functions. Just off the top, before I get in, I let y'all into this brain of mine. Sister, do you condone or not condone your children?
No, I don't condone it, but I also don't live in La La Land, and I ain't Delulu. I know. Okay. I know they be goosing. So.
Yeah, they goosing.
So, would you give them contraceptives or encourage them?
You know what? Double standard. My son, yeah.
I appreciate that. No.
What about your daughters?
No, of course not.
I don't want no nasty son of a gun touching my daughter.
That's right. That's right. No, and again, what we say,
Be
death tax.
honest.
Yes, no,
Okay,
death
I get
taxes
it.
and double
I get it.
standards. They're not going away.
I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
That's her mama and daddy problem.
Yes.
Wow.
Wait, no, stop. I got something. So hold on. Yes,
Wow.
yes, that's fantastic. Black. No, I don't. Never mind. Hold on, Kenny.
Why you think I would say something crazy?
Good, because I don't like falling behind Black and barely like falling behind Lady D.
All right, yes, sir. Kenny, condone it. Do you condone or not condone your children?
I think any parent don't want their children to have sex. But
That is not true.
Well, that may be. But I would be stupid
In your
to sit here
circle,
and think.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd be stupid here to think that they won't. But I definitely would want to equip them with all the information and all the protection that they need. If they
Both genders?
Both genders.
Okay.
Because I ain't crazy. My daughter's not. Believe me, I done had to fight some dogs off with a stick on my daughter, so I get it. You feel me? So
Kenny, I'm gonna tell y'all, any of my kids friends listening, Kenny's better than me. I ain't fighting with no stick. I just want y'all to know that. Exactly. There, I gave my son condoms because I wanted to protect him when I thought he was active. No father in the house, so I had to have that talk.
and that's deep. And that's deep, CC, because my brother and I, we didn't have that talk because we was raised by a single woman too. There was no talk about sex at all. Only talk we had is you better not end up gay. That's all we had. That was it.
Oh, all right. Yes, sir. I'm not even gonna touch that. Yeah, Black, come on. What?
It's a loaded question for me because
Sure.
What's the age of consent we talking about?
Right.
Okay. The Black Love series. That's
So
good.
that would be for me. Anything under 16 is a definitive hard no for a daughter.
That darn double standard. There it is again.
For a daughter. Because like Kenny, whether it's right or wrong, I would be encouraging my son from 12 on, get some of that pussy, boy.
Would you,
Make sure you
Boosie?
get you some.
Oh,
You
not
know.
Boosie.
Make sure. Yes, I agree with Boosie 1,000%.
Yeah.
Me and
Yeah,
Boosie-
don't get me wrong. I do want to say that I told my son not to have sex, and I remember showing him a book of all of these screwed up penises from different sexually transmitted diseases. I showed him some that was dripping, bumpy, lumpy, deformed. Everything you could think of is what I showed him because in my mind I was going to discourage it, but I know
Right. But it wasn't.
told that y'all aren't a man or you're encouraged to do that because it's some weird ass staple of manhood. And I say weird, but because I know it's not weird, but I know that that's what's pushed and that makes you manly and macho and things like that. And then the little girls that were pursued, they were the little hoes. They were the schoolyard hoes. I don't care how old they were, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Let's just be honest. That's just kind of how it went. And I know those relationships don't last. I know to me it's not worth it because it's just a temporary situation. And I would love for men to start being taught, y'all finna roll your eyes, about fulfilling relationships and waiting till there's emotion attached and all of that before engaging into the kind of behavior. Because I think when you care for the woman and you've built a relationship and a foundation or a friendship, I think you're more respectful to her and it means more and you're less likely to mistreat her. That's what I encourage. Did it work? Hell no. But that's what I
love
encourage. It worked for my daughters, but it not for my son.
Wow.
And I don't disagree with nothing you said, but you started out, Lady D, you said, but you recognize that's just not the world we live in. And even if as a parent, I taught my kids that, you know what you said, a comment you said, well, that's somebody else's problem. Now you've got to send your children out sheep amongst wolves.
Okay.
And in this day and age, it's not only the wolves are not only men anymore.
Right.
Yeah, no, sure.
It's women too.
But again, okay. It's okay. I feel like I'm Spider-Man now because I just want to shoot all these webs out and just start tackling all this stuff. Okay. Here's what I'll say, and then I just want to put this on our hearts, and we can go another round with this. Adults can't even function properly when we put that. We just sat here and talked about friends. And my thing is, if we know that, and again, I know what the world, listen, I know what the world is out there, but I don't know even. It's not a right or wrong. Again, that's why I don't understand why people don't believe there's a God. Because if your children make it through this world, with the least amount of trauma that they can, it's nothing that we did. It's not. This is not like we're overseas, and the haves and the haves not is always going to be. What you got? What you saying?
Whew, okay. And so I'm glad you brought God into this, because that is also kind of what has shaped my evolving view of this. Number one, I was raised in a toxic situation where my brothers at 12 took me to a prostitute, like Lil Boosie advocated. That really did happen. That really and truly did happen. And I'm eternally grateful. Also, a female cousin of mine, she molested me, and I'm highly grateful to her as well. So for me, it worked out. I enjoyed every last aspect of it. So it taught me to be the man I am today. But anyway, having said that, where I'm going, I promise you I'm going somewhere.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You definitely need to go somewhere, Brother Black, and it ain't on this show.
Good night.
So
Everybody needs a shower after this.
To my madness that now I brought God into the mix, though, because lo and behold, when I became a dedicated baptized Jehovah's Witness, for a lot of years, I was angry as shit at the organization because it screwed up a lot of thousands of young people. And the two areas that, in my opinion, that has screwed them up on more than anything else was their view of education and their view of sex. Because organizationally, at that time, they taught that even masturbation is such a sin, this, that, and the other. And so you had thousands of young people who are growing up and going through normal adolescence and not knowing what to do with these feelings. And those weren't healthy conversations that were being had about how to process this and to do anything with it. And it led to thousands of young people getting married far earlier than they ever should have, myself included. I had no business getting married at 21, but under the organization, if I wanted to have sex and be looked at as clean in the eyes of God, I had to make a commitment to marriage. And so as I've evolved, for right or wrong, I'm just telling you, for me, this is where I said the age of consent it comes into play, because my thing is I have evolved to a point where I think sexual curiosity is natural. It's a part of growing up. It's going to happen, male, female. I can't speak to what little girls do, but I can tell you for little boys, as they're discovering themselves and this, that, and the other. And so there, for me, comes a point where I would, ironically, educate them enough that they're going to do something to be able to deal with this, rather than committing to getting into a marriage that you don't have the maturity for, or to not harness those feelings. And then now you become addicted to porn and all of those. I've seen all of those things firsthand as a product of when God came into it. And I want to be careful. I'm not blaming God. God's standard is one thing, but what we as men teach is another. And so that's why, for me, as I've evolved, right or wrong, and I would have to answer to my God for how I feel about this, but having it to do all over again. And I actually have a son that I wish I had the free reins to introduce him in some ways to, toxic or not, I wish he loves snacks more than he loves stick, And so I don't know.
I'm definitely gonna have to go back and listen to this because I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna take notes on what you just said. Okay, all right. So with all that being said, my point is that I don't there's no judgment about anybody who makes any decision about their children, but for the sake of the conversation, it's like how much are we? Because again, we know it's like we're giving the keys to a car to somebody that don't know what they're doing. I mean, I guess it's ain't no right answer for this.
I was going to say,
here's the question we have to ask ourselves:
Mhm.
How can you stop your children from having sex?
And you can't. You're right. No. I agree.
How
with
can
you.
You know what I'm saying? Because
So,
they're gonna
right.
find a way to do it. So
Right.
you might as well figure out a way to equip them, to educate them, to if they going
that's where I'm at.
You have
That's
to
where I'm at,
give
brother.
them all the information and tools to give
That's
them
where I'm
both
at, brother.
sides. Because at the end of the day, man, we know when you tell a child he can't do something, especially when they become teenagers, that's gonna give them all the more reason to find
And
a way to
better they
do
learn at
Yeah.
least
Yeah.
what you're trying to pour into them. Better they learn, hopefully take more good away
Right.
from, to Devin's
Right.
point, to maybe try to tell, especially a young man, what the point of
What the
sex is and
consequence-
how he should.
Right.
Now,
Right.
he ain't gonna listen to all of it because
Right.
you only get your kids for so many hours. That's why I say sheep
That's
among
right.
the wolves.
That's right.
So you hope that they retain more than they lose, but
Yeah, again, it's about it is again, all we're doing is giving our
Mhm.
experiences and opinions, and it's literally it's whatever your best practice is. Now, I don't condone it.
I love that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna come to you, Kenny. Give me a sec. It's just your best practice, and then I play poker, so it's just like you got to deal with the. See, I know what the promiscuity is. Yeah, I just play my hand.
The hand you're dealt.
Yeah, so I'll never judge anybody, but it's for me. That's why we are, a triune being. Body, soul, and mind. My soul is attached to my beliefs, so I just can't. I will never encourage or do that. And again, I know from whence I came. So, what you say? And I'm gonna let Kenny have it after I read Carol's comment. I had the talk with my daughter and my son, so they were told correctly about sex.
Okay. And
go ahead, bro.
And that's dope. I got a question for the panel, and I got a question for those that's watching.
Yeah.
Would you have waited to have sex until marriage? So
I did.
Of course, to everybody.
Well, I did.
Are you kidding me?
No. I'm talking about the first time.
Wait a minute.
I'm talking about the first time.
You said the
first time you had sex, you was married.
My wife, when I married my wife, she was a virgin.
No, I'm saying I know that's not the question. I'm asking, would you have waited to have sex until
me?
you married?
Yes.
For me, again, no. You
wouldn't have. Okay.
No, I that's why where I started that conversation. I love that I came into things I'm highly experienced.
It's such a proud man, isn't he?
That's a question to the panel, Ms. Devin. Well, I mean, would you have waited? Oh Lord!
I know my way around titties and ass.
You know what?
I might can't ride a bike no more. I still know my way around titties and ass.
And he's not talking about Montana and Tennessee either. Yes, sir. Come on. Okay, I'm sorry.
And this is a question to the panel.
Sure.
If you had to do over again, would you have waited to have sex until marriage?
No.
To anybody. I know Black said he wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Lady D said she wouldn't. Okay.
If I had to do all over again, there'd probably be certain people I probably wouldn't sleep with.
That ain't the question.
I hear you. And so and what I'm going to say to that is that probably for the sake of my marriage, I would have, because I know what I brought to it and what I put my wife through. You know what I'm saying? because of the expectations and all the things that, you know what I'm saying? And again, being who I am today spiritually, yes, but as a man,
okay.
yeah, thank you.
I want to hear your answer, Kenny.
As a man, no, because no, and that's loaded too. Because again, the experience, I can't fathom in my mind as a human being going through that moment that I had when I was 17. And it's like that night, it's like, what are we doing? I'm like, no. You know, I okay, anyway, I'm about to tell
I just think that your first experience is usually with someone you don't give a damn about, no way. But during that time, you still learn some things. And I think that if you go into a relationship that matters to you with some knowledge and you enjoy that, I think it benefits you in both areas, your regular relationship or your friendship with your partner, as well as that area. Because I couldn't imagine not being me. I'll just say that.
Yeah. But Kenny, Black, want to hear from you.
Oh, I'll be honest with you. I definitely would have waited. Me personally.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have some explanation behind that?
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Just some of them streets I went down. Just them streets wasn't all that. I just want to leave it at that.
Got a hold of some of them bad bags he had. Yeah,
Wow.
man.
Yeah, and you know, yeah. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So yes, yes. So ultimately, I would love to have more conversations about that. But again, it's just for conversation because where nobody's gonna tell you that they got it right. Again,
I just want to add one last part because I don't want to forget, because you talk about the hand you were dealt, you know, for this question, and that's important. That's worth mentioning. You're raising children with the stability of a mother and a father in the bounds of a marriage.
Correct.
That wasn't my situation.
Right.
And so many of us find ourselves in a situation, again, from our own mishandling of sex, as you said. And so we have children that we're part-time parents, and you don't get the full say. And so even if you're the greatest dad and you get that child on visitation, you're splitting your views and values with somebody else's and what's happening in their household. So all these things matter.
For sure. Yeah. Again, like I said, it wasn't a right or wrong. It was just a conversation. And I guess I just want everybody to just play the game well with the hand that you dealt. And that's all you can do. Right. And no regrets. I mean, we waste a lot of time with regrets. Hey, man, did you want to do your segment?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'll save it for
fantastic next week. Okay. Sister, I want to applaud you. I appreciate you. You hang in here with us, and thank you so much.
Make us better.
And she does it so well. She does it excellent. She does it so well.
Yeah. I hope you know we don't never try to come get you for the sake of
Scared of y'all shit.
I'm sitting up here trying to give you flowers. You sitting up beating them on the ground. Sherry said I would not have waited because if I was married and he was no good.
As you see that Sherry and Lee, if y'all don't know, they brother and sisters, and now you see why they are brother and sisters.
And
listen, them two are off the chain.
And if I remember correctly, Sherry, she's a taker, not a giver. If I remember,
right? Yeah, and you are correct, brother Brent.
You know what? That's gonna be another segment. What's up with you getting takers and not givers? We gotta talk about that. I'm just trying to find out. Is that a cultural thing or something? Okay. Listen, fantastic job, ladies and gentlemen. It has been an awesome moment for us to share this. I feel like we need to do this once a quarter, just to have these conversations. So we'll do it again soon. But it's final thoughts time, and my brother, always, man, what's your final thought?
Man, again, Black History Month, what better way than to kick it off a little bit with some Black Love series? This is I'm not Black History, Black
Man,
Music Month.
I'm sitting over here like, what? Did I miss it?
Black Music Month, my bad.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
Black Music Month. Also,
Right.
Juneteenth is coming up on Wednesday, so what a great way to kick it off with. Talk about Black love, man, and I think this is a conversation that needs to be done more often, and I want to implore everybody, make sure you share this to your social media platforms. Invite people to watch TFG Tonight, man, because we always going to be giving you our thoughts and views, and we're going to give it to you straight with no chaser. So my final thoughts tonight is black love is complex. Love is complex anyway. That's going even taking black off the front of that. Love is complex anyway. But even more so that over the years, over the generations, Black love has become even more complex because of the battles that I see between Black men and Black women all the time. And what we need more of is this type of discourse, this type of conversation, because we all come from different experiences, different backgrounds, but we also have that one common goal. And my common goal is I just want to see Black love win. At the end of the day, I just want to see Black love win. Yeah. That's because I'm Black. So I want to see more. I want to see more men and women in healthy, constructive relationships. I want to see more healthy families with Black men and Black women together. I just want to see that. So in order for us to get to that point, we got to have some of these tough conversations, man. And we're not enemies. And I always say this. I tell Black women, I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy. We want to win with you. So let's get on the same page so we can get this thing right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sister, always. I know that noise done quieted down in there because I saw it.
It's pretty bad right now.
Yes, indeed.
But anyway, what I want to say is I want to encourage men to start. I'm starting on a good note. Let you know. Just encourage men to get in touch with their emotions, to not be with a woman or do not choose a partner who makes you feel like talking about your feelings, expressing your emotions is a sign of weakness. That is not the toxic ass woman for you. You need to find someone who is as emotionally mature as you are, or it's just not going to work. Someone's going to be unhappy and someone is going to hurt your mental health. Women, quit falling for them manufactured ass tears from these old punk ass dudes that can't accept what they did wrong. If they crying, tell them to go cry to his damn mama. Tell him to go cry to his teacher or his granny. Don't nobody give a damn about you crying. Cry your ass a river for all I give a damn. You should have thought about crying before you did whatever dumb shit you did to make your ass cry. Quit falling for that. His emotional health is not your problem. If he want to jump off a bridge, tell him which one to go to. Tell him George Bush has actually 4 levels, and you'd be better off jumping for that one so you can make sure your ass don't survive. Quit falling for that. And I bet you his ass won't jump. He's gonna go and mind his business. Let him quit. Tell him to quit playing with you. Quit playing with you.
You see the T-shirt she wearing, y'all see a T-shirt. It say your opinion doesn't pay my bills, so you already know that's right.
I know that's right.
Well, I know who need to get paid around here. All 3 of us, because she's laying on this couch getting all this free therapy, venting, and getting rid of all of it. Okay, well, that is shout out to that dude that she.
Oh, and also women, don't be waiting to get married before you have sex because you got to be able to put kung fu moves on his ass. I bet you he won't leave. I bet you'll get whatever you need by the end of the month. If you can have it going on, be educated, emotionally intelligent, be able to pay more than half the bills if you need to, and have a good conversation, and you can do a backflip on his ass, you got it.
Yes, ma'am.
Just give it to him.
Now listen, all right,
ma'am. Straight
out the horse's mouth on that one. But just don't try her.
That's right. She ain't the one.
Go ahead, my brother.
I want to, like my brother Kenny, pay homage to the value of this platform and having conversation that we did a show specifically on Black love. And my brother Brenton, please keep this up because this needs to be normalized.
Yeah.
This is June also happens to be Gay Pride Month. And why do I bring that up? Two of the shows that I truly watch and was a fan of, they've lost me because The Chi and The Power, which is in its last season, both are losing me as a viewer because on both of these platforms, gay people don't get mad with me, but let me speak my piece. We've normalized homosexuality in such a way that heterosexual has become a dirty word. And every day that I show up at work, I'm the one that has to wear a mask because whether I like it or not, I have to be in rooms with a colored flag behind me, whether I like it or not. I have to address people with their pronouns because we've normalized that behavior and that lifestyle, and to be a toxic heterosexual male, a cis male, that's being penalized. And even in our most beloved shows, we're normalizing homosexuality. I'm not saying we shouldn't, for the record. This is not against gay people. But for the power of Black love, to Kenny's point, we need to make it just as normal, because just like they're trying to remove the history of Black people from the history books so that we don't be vigilant and stay and watch, that we could wake up 30 years from now and our children's children won't even know their own history. If we don't watch it and continue to normalize conversations about Black love between a man and a woman, 10 years from now, folks, that will be something that they used to do way back in 2024. And so I love conversations like these, and that's because there is still a great segment of us that like each other, that love each other, and want to be in heterosexual relationships. And so if you want us to accept you and you have your pride, I want to have just as much pride in my belief that Black love is alive, it's well, and we need to continue to talk about it.
Thank you all so much. I was gonna sit up here and try to lie to y'all, but I love y'all too much to tell y'all a lie. So I was gonna try to pretend like I had some video and in the show. I just forgot to put my video on.
Well, you got to give us your final thoughts, dude.
No, I got one, but this is so funny because I was preparing so hard for Devin. And gonna talk about, well, I changed my mind how I felt. I was ready. No. So again, right, men trying to manipulate. So I'm not gonna manipulate. I didn't do it. But I do want to say this. I want to say I had a conversation with someone today, and the conversation I had with them, they were talking about how they felt bad because their daughter broke down because this Father's Day, this weekend, she couldn't celebrate her daddy because he was in jail, and the mama was just beating herself up because of all the decisions that she made, and what they said to me in that moment was, I have a really guarded circle, because to hear her talk about that, I was just like, dang, I'm just like, I can't even fathom in my mind what she's going through. Now, again, I'm smart enough and old enough to know I can't help everybody. And so I didn't try to do that. But what I will say is, I don't want us to think that the world that we live in our little circle is the world that everybody else is living in, because that's not true. And for what we do on this show is so important, because it gives us the opportunity to have conversations to broaden our thought process, to even help us work through things that somebody says, I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. I felt so privileged just to know I was coming here to talk to you guys about things that it had. And I'll be honest, some of the things we talk about, some of the things that I have to process in my own mind, but I say I don't want to do that. I want to talk to y'all about it. And so a lot of things I talk about is because some stuff I don't have to deal with. And so but I get a chance to talk to you all, and it makes me a better person. And so, for the sake of this show, I promise y'all, Black said don't stop. Only way I'm gonna stop is if one of them quit. Other than that, we here till the wheels fall off. And so, again, I appreciate everybody, but just know this helps me, just like it helps
you.
Yeah.
Me too.
So just know that if don't nobody else watch this show ever again, it don't matter. I'm doing this for me and these other three on the side that decide to stay here for real. So if it ain't helping none of y'all, it's helping us. So for that, we say thank you. And I promise you, it'll be the last time I won't have my video. I mean,
yeah. You were kind of strolling through the park with that final thought, which it was great. But I could tell you, like, damn, I ain't got my video. I'm feeling.
Check y'all messenger. I sent y'all a video about where technology is in China and Japan versus here. I sent it to each of you.
I need to watch that.
Okay,
I'm gonna check it out.
Okay.
Carl, thank you. I appreciate you as well. Yes, it is definitely knowledge is power. So yeah. We got some good topics. I already got them ready for next week, and the FDA want to sanction social media. We won't talk about all that. So, all right, y'all. So listen, that's Devin, and that's Lee, and that's Kenny, and we're gonna see y'all. You got somewhere to go? You going somewhere?
Watch the game.
I'm talking about next week because that's the only way I know.
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. You ain't got nowhere to go. The game over. But
That's it. We out. Peace.
Peace.